Hi everybody, Sean Holsinger here from holsingersflyshop.com and Posted Outdoors. The fly I'm about to tie for you here is what I call Kelly's Kreinik fly. This is a fly that I came up with a couple years ago. It works real well. I fish it up in Kettle Creek, up northern Pennsylvania in the springtime, and it works real well for that. It's a darker, just a generic wet fly pattern. And I fish it on my nymph leader some too. I'll fish it as a dropper. I think it'll work real well for you. Some of the stuff on it you have to pick up at craft stores or stuff like that. I tell you what you need there. And the other stuff you can get at our shop, holsingersflyshop.com. And also don't forget to check us out on YouTube and subscribe to our channel if you like what you see. Okay, the fly I'm about to tie here is my Kelly's Kreinik wet fly. This fly I come up with to fish up at Kettle Creek. We fish Kettle Creek every year in early spring. There's a good hatch up there. This closely resembles it. I'm using a black whiting hen hackle feather here, and I'm going to tie the tail with this. I'm going to take down here at the end the longer feathers. I'm going to pick off a couple of them to use as my tail. Just strip a couple off and pinch them there. Just keep pinching them till you got them in a nice tail shape. And then I'm going to turn around so I can tie them down. And as always, you don't want your tail any longer than the length of your hook shank. So I'm going to pinch it where I want them. Going to loose loop it down. Make sure it's the right length. So it's about where I want it. And then I'm going to tie it down tight. And just going to tie this all down here. Okay. The next thing I'm going to use is the Kreinik material. Okay, this is Kreinik metallic, very fine braid. 055 HL is the Keller. There's a Keller of the thread. This thread here I get at my local embroidery shop. You can probably also look like your Joann's Fabric or something like that, your local craft store. They might have the metallic thread that I sometimes use, metallic embroidery thread. It might have something close to it. You just want something dark. This I get at an embroidery shop, and they kind of laugh at us. They know the fly tires come in. When a guy comes into the embroidery shop, if he ain't buying something for his wife, he's probably buying something for fly tying. Just tie that down. The next thing I'm going to use is a piece of gold ribbing. I'm using small French oval tinsel. I'm going to tie it down too. Okay, I named this Kelly's Kreinik after my wife. I do a lot of fly fishing and she stays home and watches the kids, so I named this one after her just as a thank you. Just going to take this Kreinik and I'm going to wrap it to the front. Wrap it about 2/3 of the way up there. Just keeping it nice and tight. You want a thin body here. Just side by side. You don't want to overlap it. Don't want to make it real thick. You want to make it nice and even, nice and smooth. I like this because it has a lot of flash. This Kreinik materials, it's dark but it's flashy. And you watch a lot of my videos. I use a lot of ice dubbing, a lot of flashy materials. This is no different. Okay, just gonna tie this off here. I'm gonna trim off my extra. Okay, now I'm gonna rib this fly. Just gonna come in with my gold. Just gonna put a nice rib on here. That's good. I come back and tie my ribbing off. Alright. Now the next thing, I'm going to put a little ball of peacock ice dubbing on here. Just going to build up a nice little ball right here, and it's going to be right behind my hackle. It's going to help stand the feathers up a little bit. My visor. Okay, this peacock ice dubbing here, you just want to Twist it on there good and tight. And then, like I said, you don't want to make a real big ball. I don't want to build it up too big. I just want to get that little bit of color in there. There you go. We're going to take a little bit of that off. Come back and tighten that up on my thread. Okay, now I'm going to just trim a little bit of that stuff there. Okay, now I'm going to take the rest of my hackle feather here, and I'm going to use this hen hackle to tie my hackle in with. I just like to, you see how I pinch and I pull back the feathers. One thing I like to do, okay, I'm going to cut this off to show you here. You can see how I left some of that. There's a little trick. If you take and you cut it off like that, now that's a little bit long. I'm going to trim that down a little bit. But if you trim it and you leave a couple of the hackle fibers there, it gives your string a little extra to tie down to. It sometimes helps it grip a little bit better. You don't have to do it. That's just something extra. Okay, now that I got my hackle on there, I'm going to put my hackle pliers on, pinch my hackle, make about 3 wraps here. And constantly, when I'm wrapping, I'm pulling the hackle fibers back so I don't wrap over and wrap them down. And I want to wrap from back to front. Okay, I got about 3 on there. I'm going to tie this off. Cut off my end here. Okay, now I'm going to take my fingers, I'm just going to pull these fibers back. Make sure I get them all pulled back. And just wrap a nice little head here. Okay, then I'm just going to go in and whip finish it. Oops. Grab the whip finish again. Okay, finish my whip finish off, cut my thread off, and that's all that's to this fly. I'll put a little bit of head cement on here in a second, and that's your Kelly's Kreinik fly.